There are moments in life when everything feels aligned, when your breath is steady, your thoughts are clear, and peace surrounds you like a gentle stream. But without warning, that calm can shatter. Chaos strikes. Stress floods your mind. A single event, a word, a decision, a glance can flip your entire emotional state upside down. And suddenly, you're not in control anymore. Your mind is. But what if you could train your mind to stay calm no matter what's happening around you? What if you could face storms without being pulled under? This isn't a fantasy, it's a skill, and you can start developing it today. The nature of chaos and the strength within. Life isn't a smooth journey. Growth never arrives gently. It comes wrapped in unexpected trials, waves of confusion, fear, loss, and uncertainty. We face things we never thought we could handle. Sometimes we're pushed to the edge, but it's within these moments that something deeper is forged, not from comfort, but from resistance. The Stoics believed that strength isn't found in avoiding the storm, but in becoming still within it. That calmness, clarity, and resilience aren't traits you're born with. They're habits, cultivated like muscles over time. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just philosophy, it's a lifeline. Because when the world turns upside down, your only true anchor is your ability to choose how you respond. So let's begin this journey. Together, we'll uncover how to train your mind, not to suppress emotions, but to rise above them. Not to control others, but to control yourself. Control your mind, or let it control you. Have you ever felt like your own thoughts were sabotaging you? You're trying to stay calm, but your heart races. A single negative comment spirals into hours of overthinking. You lash out, you withdraw, and later, regret comes knocking. That's the trap of an untrained mind. We like to believe we're in charge of ourselves, but too often it's fear, anger, or insecurity that's steering the wheel. These emotions flood in without permission, and unless we're careful, they take over. Picture this. You're at a cozy evening party, relaxed, surrounded by friends. Laughter hums around you. You're in the flow, until someone, perhaps without much thought, makes a sharp remark about you. Maybe it's a joke, maybe it's an insult, but it cuts deep. What happens next? If your mind is untrained, your body reacts before your reason catches up. Your pulse spikes. Embarrassment, anger, defensiveness, like lightning, they strike. You want to speak back, walk away, or demand an apology. But pause. Ask yourself, is that truly me reacting? Or is it my emotions pulling the strings? Epictetus, another Stoic master, once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." The remark itself is neutral. The storm brews because of how you interpret it. If you believe it defines your worth, you hurt. If you see it as mere noise, just one person's passing opinion, it loses all power over you. This is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally sovereign. What control really means. Stoicism doesn't tell you to bury your feelings. It teaches you to observe them, to give yourself space between stimulus and response. Control doesn't mean you'll never feel rage, sorrow, or fear again. It means those feelings don't get to decide your actions. Let's revisit that party moment. Instead of snapping back or storming off, imagine you take a deep breath. You ground yourself. You look at the person, not with hostility, but with unshaken calm. You realize their words only carry weight if you give them weight. And in that moment, you choose peace over pride. Maybe you smile. Maybe you change the subject. Maybe you walk away, but not in anger, in self-command. And something strange happens. They become uncomfortable, not you. They expected confrontation. They expected a reaction. But when all they meet is stillness, it unsettles them far more than any retort. This is the quiet power of inner mastery, the daily battle. This kind of strength doesn't come overnight. You won't become unshakable by reading quotes or watching videos. Like building muscle, it takes repetition, failure, and patience. You start small. A rude driver cuts you off. Your plans fall apart last minute. Someone forgets to thank you. You practice not letting these things own your peace. Because here's the truth. You will never control the outside world, but you can control the lens through which you see it. When you do, every moment, no matter how chaotic, becomes a chance to sharpen your mind. Up next, we'll dive into how the Stoics viewed pain, not as something to avoid, but as a forge, and how facing pain the right way can transform your strength from reactive to resilient. Stay with me. The transformation is just beginning. We ended the last section by exposing how instant gratification, especially through social media and other quick fixes, can steal your focus. But knowing this is only the beginning. Now, the real question is, how do we take our control back? How do we shift from passive consumption to intentional living? First, we need awareness. Begin by observing what pulls you away from meaningful work. Is it your phone? News updates? Pointless conversations? Track these moments. Write them down. Most distractions are invisible until we choose to notice them. Second, create simple rules to protect your attention. If you find yourself endlessly scrolling, set a daily screen limit. If notifications keep interrupting your focus, turn them off during deep work hours. It may feel inconvenient at first, but boundaries are not restrictions. They are tools that protect your time and mind. Third, and perhaps most important, find something worth focusing on. People are more vulnerable to distraction when they lack direction. If you don't know what you're aiming for, anything can steal your energy. But when you have a clear goal, something deeply meaningful to you, distractions start to fade into the background. When you're focused on a mission that matters, entertainment becomes secondary. If distraction is the enemy of success, then conscious attention is the weapon of victory. But how do you take control, not just in small moments, but in life as a whole? Why do some people drift through life feeling lost, while others seem to steer confidently toward their purpose? That's what we'll explore next. Let's continue. Number 2, reasons why you must take control of your life. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "He is free who lives as he wishes to live, who is neither subject to compulsion, nor to hindrance, nor to force." This sentence holds a truth deeper than it seems. Freedom isn't the ability to do anything at any time. It's the strength to do what's necessary, even when it's hard. If you constantly give in to impulses and emotional distractions, you become a prisoner of your environment. You may wish for change, but without new actions, nothing changes. If you want a healthy body but cannot control your eating habits, that desire remains a fantasy. If you dream of success but don't manage your time, you will stay trapped in a cycle of procrastination. Real transformation begins the moment you take ownership of your thoughts, actions, and habits. This requires discipline, the strength to say no to what doesn't serve you. Imagine you've committed to learning a new language to improve your career. In the beginning, your motivation is high. You make a study plan and feel excited. But then, one day, it's a phone call. The next, a conversation that stretches too long. Gradually, your focus slips. You tell yourself you'll study tomorrow, then the next day, until one day, your goal fades into regret. But what if you chose differently? What if you put your phone aside, ignored distractions, and committed yourself fully to your learning? You wouldn't just gain language skills. You'd build self-respect. You'd sharpen your discipline. You'd feel the deep satisfaction of making progress and taking charge of your future. The truth is, this world is not built to make success easy. It's full of noise, temptation, and distraction designed to steal your attention. If you don't protect your time, the world will consume it. That's why discipline is your shield and your sword. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. We cannot control what happens outside of us, but we can always control how we respond. A disciplined person does not waste energy on petty arguments. They don't allow negativity to set their tone. They don't drift. They decide. They write their own path, no matter how chaotic the world becomes. So pause for a moment. Reflect. How many times have you handed over your day to distraction? How many dreams have you delayed? Not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked control. We ended the last section with a powerful truth. Discipline is the line between dreams fulfilled and dreams forgotten. But what pulls us away from that discipline most often? The answer is simple. Distraction. Distractions don't just waste time. They rob you of your future. Think about it. How many times have you delayed a goal just to enjoy a moment of comfort? How often have you allowed someone else's words or actions to shape your mood, your confidence, or your plans? The reality is this: no one can control your life unless you hand them the keys. You may not be able to change everything around you, but you can always control how you think, how you act, and how you decide. So how do you begin taking back control? Step 1. Eliminate ineffective habits. Start by identifying what's dragging you down. Is it endless social media scrolling? Wasting hours in conversations that go nowhere? Constant procrastination? If an activity doesn't support your growth, it's not neutral. It's holding you back. Remove it. Step 2. Set clear goals and commit to them. Don't just say you want to be better. Write it down. Define it. Be specific. Then commit. Even when it's hard, even when you're tired. Success doesn't come to those who try when it's convenient. It comes to those who keep going when it's not. Step 3. Learn to say no. Say no to distractions. Say no to invitations that pull you away from your path. Your greatest power lies in your ability to reject what does not serve your future. Step 4. Focus on what you can control. You cannot control how others behave. You cannot control the economy, the weather, or most outside events. But you can control how you respond. You can control your effort. You can control your attitude. And that's where your real power lies. Everyone wants to succeed, but not everyone is willing to lead themselves to success. The difference between high achievers and those who remain stuck is not luck. It's not genetics. It's self-control. discipline. Ask yourself honestly, are you living the life you want? Or are you letting the world make that decision for you? Are you taking daily action toward your goals? Or are you letting fleeting distractions decide your fate? Real freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about having the strength to do what is right, especially when it's not easy. And only you can make that decision. So, are you truly in control of your life? Or are you still being influenced by everything around you? Share your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation matters. Now, let's move to the next chapter. Number 3, the importance of building discipline and embracing sacrifice. True freedom doesn't come from removing stuff, all boundaries. It comes from mastering yourself. Those who can't control their impulses, emotions, or habits will always be prisoners to them. Epictetus said it best, "No man is free who is not master of himself." On the journey of personal growth, discipline and sacrifice are not optional, they are essential. They are the foundation that keeps you steady when temptation calls and distraction whispers. So why is discipline so important? Because discipline is not a limitation, it's a compass. Without it, even the best plans are just ideas. You may have 100 dreams, but without discipline, they'll be lost in the winds of distraction. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It means showing up, even when motivation is gone. Because motivation is based on emotion, and emotion is temporary. But discipline is a decision you make daily. When you build discipline, you stop waiting for the right time to act. You get to work whether the weather is bad, whether you're tired, or whether others are taking it easy. You no longer need to feel inspired. You act because you've chosen who you want to be. Look at the world's most successful people, athletes, entrepreneurs, creators. Their success doesn't come from raw talent alone. It comes from relentless, often invisible, self-discipline. Take Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history. He wasn't just talented, he was consistent beyond belief. For over 10 years, Phelps trained 365 days a year. No exceptions, no rest days, no excuses. While others were celebrating holidays or sleeping in, he was already in the pool, pushing his limits, sharpening his focus. His reward? 23 Olympic gold medals, a record that remains untouched. And what does that teach us? That talent might get you started, but discipline is what takes you all the way. Discipline may take you far, but sacrifice is what keeps you moving when things get hard. Success always comes with a price. No one achieves great things while living a life of ease, comfort, and indulgence. Do you want to become stronger? You'll need to sacrifice comfort. Do you want a remarkable career? You'll need to let go of time-wasting habits. Do you want financial freedom? Then you must eliminate impulsive spending. Let's return to the story of Michael Phelps. He didn't just train hard, he sacrificed endlessly. No late-night junk food, no skipping practice. He stuck to a strict diet, a rigorous sleep schedule, and refused to give in to excuses, even when his body begged for rest. These sacrifices weren't just about winning medals. They were about something deeper, mastering himself. The victory in the pool was simply the reward for thousands of victories over comfort, laziness, and doubt. Now ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term growth? Are you willing to give up what feels good today to become better? the best version of yourself tomorrow. Great people aren't born luckier than you. They've just chosen to endure more than you. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoic philosophy is to act in silence. You don't need to talk about how hard you're working. You don't need to impress anyone with your discipline. The strongest people let their results speak. They don't seek applause. They seek progress. Weak people need validation. They need encouragement and praise to keep going. But strong people only need one thing: a commitment to their own vision. You may be wondering, how do I know if I'm on the right path? The answer isn't in big speeches or dramatic moments. It's in your habits. Look at your daily actions. Are you consistently working toward what matters, or are you losing time to meaningless comfort? If you have discipline, your schedule will reflect it. If you value growth, your choices will prove it. If you've embraced sacrifice, you'll feel yourself slowly but surely moving forward. And if you choose to work in silence, there will come a time when you won't have to explain your progress. The results will speak for you. The world will notice without you saying a word. But here's the truth. Discipline isn't easy. Sacrifice isn't easy. And that's why most people never reach their full potential. They want the reward, but not the road. But if you truly want to change your life, there is no shortcut. You must accept the difficult path. You must be willing to do what others won't. And you must make peace with the fact that success is a slow, often invisible process. Remember, success doesn't come from a single dramatic decision. It comes from small, deliberate choices made again and again. Every morning, when you wake up and choose action over distraction, growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure, that's where success begins. If this message resonates with you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos on Stoicism and ... Inner mastery. Let's keep going, because we're not done yet. Let's talk about something that many dreamers ignore, but every achiever understands. Number 4, schedule and focus. Here's a simple truth. Success does not come from vague intentions or feel-good visions. It comes from specific actions, repeated consistently over time. You can wish for your dreams all day long, but without structure, they're just fantasies. And that's where Stoic philosophy shines. The Stoics didn't preach fantasy. They lived by precision, meticulous planning, clear goals, absolute focus. Ever wonder why some people seem to get so much done, while others spend their days busy, but make no real progress? It's not because they have more time. It's because they use time differently. Time is not something you can control, but how you use it is. You either direct it with intention or let it slip away. As Marcus Aurelius once said, if you don't have a consistent goal in life, you can't live it in a consistent way. A powerful reminder that without purpose, your energy will scatter. Imagine a ship with no destination. No matter how fast it sails, it's going nowhere. That's what life without a plan feels like. Motion without progress. So ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? Whether it's becoming a writer, building a business, or simply improving yourself, start with one rule. Don't let your time fall into the hands of others. And if you need proof of what disciplined scheduling can do, look at the story of Haruki Murakami. We left off reflecting on the importance of planning and focus. So let's look at a powerful, real-world example of what this looks like in action. One of the greatest novelists of our time, Haruki Murakami didn't achieve literary fame by waiting for bursts of inspiration. When he made the decision to become a full-time writer, he didn't leave his schedule up to chance. Instead, he built a life around discipline and focus. Every day, Murakami would wake up at 4 a.m., write continuously for 4 to 6 hours, then spend his afternoons running or swimming to maintain both physical and mental well-being. Evenings were reserved for reading and research. He followed this cycle with unwavering consistency for years. From Norwegian Wood to Kafka on the Shore, it wasn't talent alone that produced these masterpieces. It was routine. It was the quiet, determined repetition of this structured rhythm that helped him transform effort into legacy. Murakami didn't wait for perfect conditions. He didn't scroll through social media first thing in the morning. He understood something most people forget. If you don't control your time, time will control you. So how can you apply this to your own life? You don't need to replicate Murakami's exact schedule, but you do need a plan that's clear enough to guide you and flexible enough to fit your current reality. If your goal is to write a book, start by setting aside 1 uninterrupted hour each day, just for writing. No scrolling, no distractions, just deep focus. If your goal is to improve your English, spend 30 minutes each morning practicing pronunciation, listening to podcasts, or simply speaking out loud to yourself. If you're building a career, be ruthless about how you spend your hours. Avoid meaningless tasks, shallow conversations, and time sinks that bring no real progress. Because the truth is, the amount of time you have matters far less than how well you use it. There's an interesting paradox. The most disciplined people are often the freest. Why? Because when you control your time, you're no longer haunted by the guilt of procrastination. You're no longer trapped by indecision or overwhelmed by chaos. You have clarity. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Your phone buzzing, social media refreshing, random headlines pulling your attention, or even people around you dragging you into unimportant conversations. If you don't actively protect your focus, it will be consumed by things that offer nothing in return. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that self-control is the gateway to inner peace. You may not be able to shape the world around you, but you can shape how you respond to it. Ask yourself, when someone invites you for coffee during your planned study hour, do you accept out of politeness, or do you keep your commitment? When your phone lights up with another meaningless notification, do you check it reflexively, or do you stay focused on the task in front of you? These small choices, repeated day after day, are what create massive differences in outcome. They separate those who talk about dreams from those who live them. So what will you choose? The reality is, you can become anyone you want to be, but only if you're willing to make the daily commitment that identity requires. You can't expect extraordinary results while living with ordinary habits. Success isn't built on what you do once. It's built on what you do every single day. Take a few moments today to audit your schedule. Are you spending time intentionally? Or are you wasting precious hours on things that add no value? Remember, we all have the same 24 hours, but it's those who understand how to focus that turn time into achievement. So if planning and focus are the building blocks of success, what keeps you going when motivation fades? What makes you persist when results are slow? The answer lies in something deeper: the process. And that brings us to the next key lesson. Number 5. Process is key, not just results. In a world obsessed with outcomes, measuring money, reputation, or external achievement, we often forget the quiet truth. Real value lies in the journey. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said that before becoming someone, we must first define clearly what we truly want, and then take focused action to make it real. This teaches us something powerful, that the path itself shapes us. Everyone wants success, a rewarding career, a fit body, a stable, happy life. But how many people actually take time to reflect on the process they're going through? The steps, the effort, the growth that happens when no one is watching. If we only chase results, we become impatient. We get frustrated when progress is slow. We question ourselves when rewards don't come fast enough. But sustainable success, true success, never happens overnight. It's built slowly, over time, through perseverance, through repeated failures, through small improvements and painful lessons. And it's the people who embrace the process who end up winning the long game. In the last section, we explored how focusing on the process, not just the result, sets the foundation for lasting success. But there's something even deeper that many people miss. You might see a successful entrepreneur on the cover of a magazine, but you don't see the sleepless nights they endured, the painful failures they overcame, or the long moments of self-doubt they wrestled with in silence. You might admire a brilliant artist, but you weren't there for the hundreds of hours they spent refining their craft, the countless rejections they received, or the creative blocks that nearly made them give up. We often only see the peak of the mountain, never the rugged, relentless climb it took to get there. But here's the truth. If you truly love your journey, you won't need to wait until you reach the top to feel fulfilled. Every step matters. Every effort carries value. That is the quiet strength of Stoic thinking. One powerful truth often overlooked is this: you're not successful because you achieved something. You're successful because you became the kind of person capable of achieving it. When you commit to training yourself, learning from failure, and staying consistent with small daily goals, you're not just making progress, you're shaping your character. You're building discipline. You're cultivating perseverance. You're learning to adapt when challenges appear. Think of a marathon runner. Reaching the finish line is a milestone, but without the countless training sessions, the physical exhaustion, and the mental discipline to keep going through the pain, that finish line would be impossible. Their strength doesn't come on race day. It's built every day before it. Their endurance improves with every run, every early morning, every moment they choose effort over ease. Now picture an entrepreneur starting from zero. If they focus only on the vision of a successful company, but refuse to engage with the grind, the team building, the problem solving, the lessons from failure, they won't last. Because success isn't built from dreams alone. It's built from repetition, mistakes, and adaptation. The process doesn't just lead to success. It turns you into someone capable of sustaining it. There's a simple but crucial truth. If you don't enjoy the process, you won't last long enough to see the outcome. The people who go the furthest aren't always the most talented or well-connected. They're the ones who find joy in the effort, the ones who wake up and do the work because they love the journey more than they fear the delay. Think of a writer. If all they care about is becoming a bestseller, they'll likely burn out. The rejections will crush them. The slow progress will frustrate them. But if they love writing, if they cherish the act of putting thoughts into words, then sitting down each day won't be a chore. It will be a reward. And that passion is what will carry them further than talent ever could. Stoic philosophy teaches us something profound. Peace doesn't come from reaching a destination. It comes from how you live each day. If you wake up in the morning and feel proud of the effort you're making, then you've already succeeded. If you find satisfaction in the steps, however small, you've taken today, you're already building the life you want. Success isn't distant. It's present in those moments of focused effort. One of the biggest challenges in pursuing long-term goals is dealing with discouragement, especially when results don't show up right away. We live in a world of instant everything. Instant messaging, instant delivery, instant gratification. So when progress takes time, we grow impatient. But Stoicism reminds us, focus on what you can control. You can't control recognition. You can't control when success comes, but you can control how you work. You can control your discipline. You can control your response to setbacks. When you learn to love the process, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of expectations. You're no longer comparing your timeline to others. You're not defeated by silence or delay. You understand that what truly matters is not where you are compared to others, but where you are compared to who you were yesterday. Stoicism doesn't tell us to abandon ambition. It teaches us to direct it with clarity. When you prioritize the process, when you focus on action over approval, you develop a deep resilience, a calm strength. You stop chasing validation and start building something real. So the next time you feel frustrated or discouraged because you haven't reached your goal yet, ask yourself, am I enjoying the process? If the answer is yes, then you are already more successful than most. If the answer is no, maybe it's time to reframe your perspective, because results are just markers. The real reward is becoming someone who shows up, who endures, who grows, no matter what. In the last section, we explored how the process, not the outcome, shapes the kind of person you become. But to walk that process with strength and clarity, there is one tool often overlooked in modern life: solitude. That brings us to number 6. Embrace solitude to strengthen your inner resolve. In today's chaotic, noisy world, there is a quiet power that few people recognize: solitude. But unlike the common misunderstanding that equates solitude with loneliness, the kind of solitude taught by Stoicism is not a state of emptiness or isolation. Instead, it is a state of stillness, an intentional withdrawal from the noise, to return to yourself, to recharge, and to nurture your inner strength. It is in these quiet spaces that you begin to hear your own voice again. It is here that you find clarity, peace, and the focus to keep moving toward your goals. According to Stoic philosophy, the things we cannot control, such as the opinions of others, external events, or daily distractions, should never be allowed to disturb our calmness or determination. The Stoics taught that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. A powerful insight captured in Seneca's famous quote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." It reminds us that our biggest fears often live in our minds, not in the world. Seeking solitude is not about running away from life or from people. Rather, it is an intentional act of self-mastery. The Stoic view of solitude is not about becoming a hermit or disconnecting from society entirely. It is about reconnecting with yourself, stepping back so you can step forward with greater clarity. It is a method of mental renewal, a reset that allows you to see what truly matters without the distortion of external influences. In this stillness, you can finally observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment and assess your goals without pressure. Picture an artist, a writer, or a creative thinker immersed in their work. To reach their peak level of focus, they often retreat into quiet. They might turn off their phones, close their doors, avoid small talk, or even seek out a quiet forest cabin where they won't be disturbed. And it is in this silence, this solitude, that their creativity is unlocked, allowing them to produce something powerful, deep, and meaningful. So why does solitude make us stronger? Because the outside world is always trying to shape us. Its noise, its trends, its opinions. And unless we intentionally disconnect from it, we lose sight of what we truly want. Everyone has goals, dreams, and ambitions that require deep focus and inner clarity. But when you're constantly reacting to what others say or being pulled by every trending topic or message, you become scattered. You begin to lose your direction. Solitude helps you find it again. It's in solitude that you get the space to prioritize what matters most, to listen to your own thoughts without interruption, and to focus your mind like a laser beam. And Stoic solitude is not just about physical quiet. It's about internal calm. It's the ability to sit still and be at peace with yourself, even in the middle of chaos. This lesson is essential for maintaining mental clarity and emotional strength. You cannot control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you respond to it. Solitude helps you cultivate that control, because in the silence, when no one else is influencing your thoughts, you learn to rely on your own judgment. You build mental toughness, emotional resilience, and spiritual peace. Still, many people struggle with solitude. In a world that constantly demands attention, where people are juggling work, family, and social obligations, taking time for yourself can feel like a luxury. But in truth, it's a necessity. If you want to stay focused on your personal mission, if you want to achieve something meaningful, then solitude must become a part of your life. You don't need to run away from the world. You just need to find moments of quiet within it. Solitude isn't about pushing people away. It's about pulling yourself inward. It's a chance to reassess your life, to clarify your values, and to create a personal strategy for growth. Ask yourself, can you step away from the constant noise, even temporarily, to reconnect with what matters most to you? Can you learn to work in silence without needing applause or recognition from others, simply because you believe in your path? That's the essence of true solitude. It's not escape, it's self-renewal. And in that quiet, you will find something rare and powerful, a deep well of inner strength, a rising sense of self-respect, and the steady willpower to keep moving forward. When you embrace solitude, your work improves, your clarity improves, and most importantly, you improve. Because solitude gives you the space to become a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of yourself. It helps you focus on what truly matters, not what the world says matters. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by noise, pressure, or outside opinions, remember this: solitude is not your enemy. Sometimes it is your greatest ally. Sometimes it is exactly what you need to grow, to refocus, and to reconnect with your purpose. In the stillness, you become who you were always meant to be. When you free yourself from unnecessary external influences, you begin to tap into something far more powerful, the strength of solitude. By embracing stillness, you build not only self-awareness, but also deep self-respect, the kind that empowers you to face life's challenges with quiet confidence. Through the lens of Stoic philosophy, we've explored a life built not on noise or validation, but on focus, discipline, and inner resolve. True success doesn't come from shouting your achievements or chasing approval. It is built slowly, silently, through consistency, sacrifice, and a personal commitment to growth. When you focus on what truly matters, when you stick to your path without demanding attention, something powerful happens. You become anchored, calm, strong. So ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped looking outward and started focusing inward? What could you accomplish if you committed to your long-term goals with quiet determination? Let us know in the comments. Share your thoughts and include the phrase, "Silence creates strength." We'd love to hear how you're applying these lessons in your own life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter in your personal development journey. Thank you for watching. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and remember, your greatest strength is often the one no one sees. See you in the next video.